I met this dude at the climbing gym, and I found him attractive before I like met him. Hi, I'm Alex Anders, and this is the Bisexual Romance Author Vlog. So today I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff, a lot of personal stuff, and I'm still trying to get a hang of this whole vlog thing. I mean, the other channel was, talking educational channel about bisexuality, but I'm supposed to share in a vlog. So today I'm going to do a little bit more sharing than I am about talking about bisexual topics. But what I'll be talking about is the ups and downs of bisexual romance. And I'm going to be talking about it from a perspective of an author, because right now I happen to be going through some ups and downs, mostly downs. And I'll be talking about it as a person who is bisexual and into, getting involved with romance. And I'll talk about the ups and downs and mostly downs this week. So here's how it's going. But as an author, as you know, I recently released a book called Aladdin's Jasmine. And I will say that my first, I think it was 8 bisexual romances, although they didn't necessarily all start out like going straight to the charts, all of them ended up on Amazon's like bestseller list for bisexual romances. And I was like, yeah, I'm just like... And then Amazon deleted my account, which happened a while, back in October of last year. Destroyed things, destroyed things, destroyed my life a little bit. But I managed to put books back together and get them back up there. And I was like, okay, so how can I basically only write anthologies at this point, or publish anthologies on Amazon. So it's like, how can I reintroduce my old books? Because they were making good money. Like there were books that just like lived on the bestsellers list, the bisexual romance bestsellers list. It just lived there. So I was like, how can I reintroduce those books to my customers? So like, I know I'll take my most popular book and I'll write a sequel to it. And that sequel will, charge back up to the charts and all that stuff. Because all authors always say the way to make, real money writing books is to write sequels. Everyone loves a sequel. So my most popular book, I'll write a sequel. I wrote a sequel and it did nothing. It did nothing to boost sales. It's almost sold nothing in terms of outside of Amazon when I put it individually. It was bad. It did not do well. Luckily, I repackaged some books in French, and those, like a couple of those books went to the top 100 list on all of Amazon in France. So that was great, rescue me, blah, blah, blah. Wonderful. But then Amazon deleted my account again. Actually, no, then I wrote another book called, Her Red Hood. And that one sold better. Like I have like a way of tracking books. Like I release them outside of Amazon first, so like on Google and Amazon and other places. And I see how they sell there, Barnes & Noble. I see how they sell there, and that can tell me a little bit about how they're going to sell on Amazon. And I can say that book, Her Red Hood, which was a takeoff of Red Riding Hood, was tracking, fairly average for me, which is good. And I released it onto Amazon, and I have this little thing I do that always like helps to ensure that the books will end up in the bestsellers list. It's like this whole thing about, I have a newsletter, and I have, readers who enjoy finding out about my upcoming books, and there's like 4,000 of them. So I will tell them like in segments like the book is out, and that causes them to go buy the books on Amazon and in like stagnated, and because of that the Amazon algorithms will see it and go, oh wait, people are slowly finding this book, we should show this book to more people. And it'll build up, and then finally, more people will buy, it'll end up on the bestsellers list. So that's the kind of pattern. And I went and I was doing that with Her Red Hood, and so it tracked well outside of Amazon, and I started doing that with Her Red Hood. And as soon as I sent it out to the last of my readers, Amazon deleted my account again. So right when it was building, right when I had all that momentum going, Amazon ripped the book off the shelf and try to destroy my career again. And then I was able to get the book back onto it, but this time it didn't have all the momentum of, the building. So the book did not do well. But in fact, it did very, very, very badly. But all indications were that it would have done better if not for what happened. So that's two books I published that were real flops. And I said, okay, well, I was working on a book ever since I came back from Japan. It's a funny book. It's a sexy book. I was working on it, but I kept thinking, okay, well, I need to do something that's sure to be a success. That was a sequel, and then Her Red Hood. And then I started working on it again, and then I realized, oh, Aladdin came out in the movie theaters. Last time I did this was, last time Disney had a live action I could write a bisexual romance off of was Beauty and the Beast, in which case I did, and it was a huge success for me, and da. So I thought, okay, well, I'll put this other book aside, this Japanese book aside, and I'll switch to Aladdin's Jasmine. And I did all the usual things. I got the reviews, I stagnated out, and the book was slowly going up the charts as I was releasing it more and more to my readers. And then as soon as the last reader got the book, it dropped off a cliff. So let me just show you. So right now, Aladdin's Jasmine is this on Amazon. That's right. It is 93,000. Ranked 93,000 on Amazon, and that is bad. That is bad. I mean, that's huge flop territory. Just huge flop. And there was some indication that it was going to be a flop because it sold poorly on Google, it sold poorly on Apple, it sold poorly on whatever. And it's one of my standard books. It's like it has twists and turns, like all of my books do. It has complex characters, like all of my books do. It has a sexy romance, like all of my books do. So I've wondered, like, why did it flop? And it could only be two possible reasons. First of all, okay, so the description of this book was a little longer than normal, which I think might take away some sales, possibly, but certainly wouldn't have made it flop. But I think the other thing is I have a friend that works for a company that does official Aladdin merchandise, and she was telling me that the merchandise for Aladdin is selling worse than the merchandise for any other product that Disney has released. So it could just be that people just aren't interested in the Aladdin story. Are you? Would you be interested in the Aladdin story? Like, you tell me, is this something, is it just that it's just not an interesting topic at this particular time? Like, no one cares to have another one? I mean, and usually, like at least the last time I did it, people wanted more of those stories. But is that what the deal is? I don't know. Either way, it's in flop territory. And it could not have come at a worse time because I've had 3 like flops in a row. Like, I'm not going to call Her Red Hood a flop because it really was tracking well. But I've had 3 book failures in a row. 3! Like, that's, for as long as they take me to write, that's really bad. And this is coming off of having my account deleted twice, which means that all of my back catalog has been removed, so I don't have the money coming in from my back catalogs. And having, like, and spending all of last year, like half of last year, working on the clothing company. So I had no income from that. And then I went to Japan, spent a bunch of money, and then my account got deleted, and my back catalog got erased from then. And it could not have come at a worse time. Could not have come at a worse time to have a flop. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that. Things are getting tight on this end. I'll say that for sure. So I think I'm going to try and change the description a little bit, see if that makes any difference. I don't really think it will, but I'll try and see what happens. And other than that, like, I was recording the audiobook for Aladdin's Jasmine, and the recording's done, and 1/3 of it is already edited, the first edit, but it's going to take me another 2-3 weeks to finish it. And I don't think it'll be worth it, because I've found that in the past, I've done like 39 other audiobooks. The most likely success comes from the books that are already popular. So popular books sell a lot of audiobooks. Oh, imagine that. And unpopular books don't. So if this is an unpopular book, I shouldn't spend another 3 weeks working on the audiobook for an unpopular book. It's just gonna fail. Like, I did that the last time, and it did not work out well. So I'm abandoning the audiobook for Aladdin's Jasmine, and on Monday I'm going to start working on the Japanese story again. It's about, it is about a baseball player, an American baseball player, who, he's really, really, really fantastic when he's in college. He gets to the majors, and he just fails hard. He spirals out of control, and then his only option is to go abroad, and he ends up going to Japan to play baseball, in which case he becomes super famous. But he has a secret. And what secret is that? If you read any of my books, you'll know the secret is that he is actually attracted to dudes, and like all the spotlight in America was destroying him, and he couldn't be who he was, and just was tearing him apart. And he went to Japan, where Japan, they respect one's privacy so much more, and he was able to understand who he became as a bisexual and explore that and stuff like that. And he meets a girl, and things start working out between, she's an American, just studying abroad, and things start working out between them. And just when things were about to be perfect in his life, he gets a call from his agent saying that his star status in Japan is finally caught in the eyes of a major league team, and there's a person who wants to create an expansion team in Portland to put the first Major League Baseball team in Portland, and they want him to be the star, and he can't pass that up. But yet it drags him out of Japan, where he was most happy, and with this girl where he was really happy, into America again in the spotlight. But again, now he knows he's bisexual, and now everyone is watching his every move, and it starts to get to him. So that's the basis of the story. We'll see how it goes. This is one of my more funny stories. Unlike I have stories where there's lots of humor and there's others with lots of drama. This one has lots of humor. We'll see what happens. But yeah, if that one fails, my God, things are going to be bad on my end. Bad. But we'll see what happens. I think this one will probably perform like my old books did, because it's nothing gimmicky. It's what I always wrote. It's what people always like. So cross your fingers for me, please, because I can't have another flop. So that's it from an author perspective, but from a person perspective, So this week was an interesting week because two things happened. First of all, I met this dude at the climbing gym, and I found him attractive before I met him. I saw him around the gym, and oh wait, that would be the most attractive guy at the gym. That's what I said to myself. And one day I was climbing a path, sitting down in front of the path, staring at it, examining it. And he walks over, he starts climbing on one right next to the one I was climbing on. So I start talking to him, we're both very social, and within a couple of questions, he asked me whether I had a partner. And I'm like, a partner? First of all, that's non-straight talk. And second of all, within a couple of questions, he asked me if I had a partner. Clearly this guy's interested. And it felt like it. It felt like it a lot, because he asked other personal questions and all that stuff. And then at the end, he offered me his phone number to go climbing again, stuff like that. So I was like, okay, this dude is clearly into me. He's a lot younger than me. A lot younger than me. But still, he knew my age. He told me his age. Everything was good. So from that point forward, I thought, well, this guy was interested in me. We go climbing the next day, and then I got a real bro vibe, and then then I got a real maybe he's straight vibe, and then I ended up telling him I'm bisexual, and he was like, oh, I would consider that sort of thing. I'm like, oh great, this is where we're going. And ultimately climbed for a bit together, and then he left the gym, and then I said, oh, if you ever want to hang out otherwise, and he said, yeah, sure, let's do it. So it was us hanging out this week. And I was like, okay, so where is this going? I knew it wasn't a date, but I wasn't sure if it was not a date. You know what I'm saying? So I went out, and, we hung out, and we talked about his, he's been attracted to at least one dude before, and we talked about that, and we talked about other stuff. So I flirted and stuff like that. He's very cute. And ultimately, he was like, yeah, no, I'm sorry, you're not going to be the first person I have a bi experience with. Okay. And on top of that, the guy I was in love with, I've been trying to just let it go from my life. But the truth is, he's kind of logged into my brain. And I ended up sending him an email that was I just kind of disappeared. He kept doing things. He didn't think that was hurtful, but it was hurtful. And it was finally hit the final straw. And I was just we need to take a break. And then nothing, I didn't contact him at all, and I didn't allow him to contact me, I blocked him. And then 3 weeks later I said, okay, if you need some kind of closure, I'll give you your closure. If not, I'm fine. He wrote back saying, no, I'm fine the way things are. I'm like, great. And then I was just like, oh crap, I understand now. I understand everything now. I understand why he was doing what he did, blah, blah, blah. And I sent him an email and just outlined the whole thing. And it could have been harsh. Granted, he could have taken it as harsh, but there's no harsher than he was to me. And then I found an email, like he emailed me, I guess a couple days ago, and I just found the email like yesterday, and it was like, yeah, we need space. So like it's finally the end of it. So there's that, and I think like I'm trying to figure out what I keep doing wrong, like in terms of like, because we all like the goal is always to try and find happiness, and same thing for me, and in both instances, I was working off of what I thought was, an attraction towards me, and I know, I mean, for both cases, both people were attracted to me in different ways, perhaps not in a sexual way, but they were drawn to me, obviously, and I need to figure out how to distinguish the two, like how to learn how to just go after the healthy ones, you know what I'm saying? Like go after relationships that are healthy. And I think what I've come up with is that, like, how I have another weakness, which is I have like sort of a professor-student thing. So I enjoy helping people, obviously, right? And the same thing is true when I meet people, like especially younger people, because younger people tend to be the ones who are more interested in being helped, more, have a desire for that. So I meet people who are, younger than myself, and I start taking on that professor role, and certain ones will look at me with those eyes of, oh, he's so, wise, sort of thing. And I just fall for that, and it's a sucker for that. But what I have to realize is the people who really like that are people who are not the most together. You know what I'm saying? So I am being drawn to this particular feature, but that feature only exists in people who are not people I should be in relationships with. People that most people should be in relationships with. It's a quality that it's just not a healthy dynamic to be in. So I've realized this week that I keep chasing after guys specifically who are not healthy to be with, and it's me being drawn to their unhealthiness, which is the problem. So, and also I'm in a situation where on top of being in situations where guys are drawn to me or strongly romantically attracted to me and not sexually attracted to me, on the female side I seem to be attracting women who are only sexually attracted to me. Like they don't want anything else. Like my last 3 situations all involved women who, they would talk to me, they would have conversations with me, but really, shut up and just do what you do, sort of thing. Like it's, it's like and there should be a part of me that goes, no, that's great, use me for sex, but at the same time, like, I'm a human being and I like to connect with people. And yet the women who are most drawn to me, certainly over the past couple of years, have only been women who are only interested in having sex with me. And I that one I can't figure out, because I don't, like, there's nothing I'm specifically looking for. Maybe it's and this could be it. It could be that all those women tend to be a little bit more aggressive. That could be it. That the women tend to be more aggressive towards me. The women who will end up in my life will be women who are more aggressive. And the women who have an agenda are the ones who are more aggressive. So yeah, that's the ups and downs of bisexual life. Apparently I'm not yet in a place where I can find a healthy relationship. Mostly because probably with guys, I'm being drawn to the whole professor-student thing, and then with girls, I'm just allowing the more aggressive ones to float to the top, and they're not the ones that, are gonna want to be me as a full person. They only want the sexual aspect. It's a dilemma. So this week was a challenging week for me because of the books and because of all that stuff. But, you know, next week, right? Next week, devoting myself to more books, and next week, going climbing more, and next week. How was your week? Can you identify with any of this? Is this, I assume this is not a bisexual thing. I assume this is just a me thing. I just happen to have that personality. I happen to be drawn to those types. I gotta figure out a way out of that. Because that's not the path to long-term happiness. It really isn't. But we'll see. What do you think about this format? I don't know. Certainly it's a little more challenging presenting information that's more personal. But hey, right? Yeah. So until next video, stay cooler, my bisexual and reader friends. Stay cooler.